Hello, everybody. It's your boy, Chocolate Nola. How's everybody doing? Today, on the Team Attack show, you guys didn't think that this would come back, but it's here again. We're going to talk about a couple cool things. We're going to talk about... I was actually talking to Garlic about this earlier, and I figured it would be a good topic to come up on the show. Now, two things that me as an so for everybody that doesn't know, I'm an older gamer. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll put on a let's play of an RPG. Let's see here. Let's see. Final Fantasy 7 long play. I'm going to talk about just RPGs, kind of like, I guess, what's been going on as an older gamer, and then, you know, me not playing them as much because of a variety of reasons. So I'm just going to let this play in the background here. Now, alerts and everything are off. I'm going to export this to YouTube so that people who weren't able to catch the stream can watch it as a VOD or anything like that. Excuse the sound in the background. It should go away in a little bit. So, a lot of people who've been watching the stream have seen me go through a variety of games, whether it be RPGs, whether it be action-adventure games, whether it be, strategy, you name it, I've tried to play it. But one game genre really escapes me in terms of fun anymore, and that is the typical Japanese RPG. Now, I'm sure you guys really enjoy playing RPGs, or they're just great time wasters, which I think is the big issue with it. So, back when I was in college, I think I played my first RPG that I liked. It was Final Fantasy VII, which is the first RPG in a lot of people's lives that kind of spoke to them. It was such a big deal because, A, it was the first Final Fantasy in the series that had 3D graphics, it didn't have voice acting or anything. But for the time it came out, 1997 was a huge year for PlayStation and JRPGs in general. And not even to say that Final Fantasy VII is the best JRPG, but it's the JRPG that kind of sticks out the most for people. If you compare this to older RPGs where there are sprites and everything is kind of low quality, because that's just the era. That's what it was. I don't understand how people could be emotionally invested in Final Fantasy 1 through 6 or older Fire Emblems or anything like that, because the only thing you have to rely on is the story. And for me, reading a bunch of text without the accompanying movements is kind of, it's a low point for me. Now, you guys might feel differently, or you might feel the same way, so I'm open to people discussing, asking questions about whether I'm wrong or whether I'm full of shit. But the point I'm trying to make is those types of games didn't really engage with me. So to have Final Fantasy VII be a storybook type of RPG, there was still text, there wasn't voice acting, but to see a train coming in and having the protagonist jump off, punch people in the face, actually seeing action rather than low quality flashes of light, that really drove me deeper into the story. And as a child, I didn't have a lot of money, but I had time. So much time to just play whatever I wanted, okay? I spent a couple hundred hours in Final Fantasy, and that's not even maxing out the materia. I didn't have a strategy guide or anything like that, so I was just playing with what little knowledge I knew. And then when I was able to get into game FAQs, game facts, whatever you call it, and really get to the point where I can understand how materia works, how the battle system is, how you can min-max characters to, do max damage and just blaze through the game. Before I even knew about Lucky Sevens, it was just me and my own thoughts about how I could best approach it. And a lot of RPGs back in the day, and still some now, they're super open-ended. You play the game a certain way up to a point, but after that the game opens up. You can play however you want. You can play whatever job or class system you like, and that's where the true love of Japanese RPG is. The reason why that isn't so great for me nowadays is because I have a full-time job. I come on back, sometimes go to the gym, and the issue is that I just can't devote that much time anymore. And a lot of these newer RPGs are like 60, 70 hours, and I'm at the point in my life where it's like, If I'm not maximizing my time, if I'm not making money, or if I'm not enjoying myself as soon as I play the game, then I see it as a colossal waste of time. Now, you guys may feel different about this, but that's just how I feel. My favorite RPG of all time, before Final Fantasy 15 came out, was actually Final Fantasy 10. A reason why that was another big RPG was that was the first next generation RPG for Square. It was in full 3D, full voice acting, amazing graphics for the time. The 2000s were a wonderful, wonderful time. And it's still up there in terms of really, really weird voice acting. It was one of the last Final Fantasies that did turn-based RPG combat well, which I feel is like an aging mechanic, but that's for another discussion. And so, 15 years pass, and I'm like, all right, it's time to play it again. So I buy the remastered version on PC. The graphics are great. The music is remastered. Everything is updated, right? I feel like I should be more excited about it, but then I play it on stream, and I'm just like, man, I didn't miss all this grinding. Like, I was really looking through some rose-colored glasses back in the day. And I was asking myself, is this game as good as I remember it? And I'm like, no, it has to be. I spent hours and hours and hours playing Blitzball, grinding spheres, going through the sphere grid system. There's so many great things about that game. So how could I play this 10, 15 years later and just absolutely abhor it? I think it's getting to the point where I still love video games, but I find myself slowly aging out of the things that I spent so much time on. And I spent so much time on things because I didn't have anything else to do. Like, my mom used to call me a video game addict, and I guess I was. Like, all I did was play video games, and she always told me, you're not going to amount to anything if all you do is play video games. And she was wrong. But I see why she said that. So my point is, some people can play RPGs on stream and entertain people. I don't think that I can really do that anymore. There'll be points in the game where I forget how to approach a certain boss, or things don't go as smoothly as I used to do it 10, 15 years ago. And then, the part about streaming that's really important is you want to have fun while you're grinding through this game. So running every 20 seconds, having a random battle happen, or just wanting to progress the story, knowing full well that you've got to go through the motions that you went through 10, 15 years ago, and it just sours the experience. It makes it truly, truly not as good. And that's what took away from me. I have friends who are super big Final Fantasy fanatics. I have this friend named Brendan Triano. He goes by Gunblade, and he's one of the biggest Final Fantasy nerds I've ever seen. He played through basically everything. I even learned some things I didn't see through strategy guides, and he made it so effortless. He made it look so easy. And I told myself, was I having that much fun? I know I was, but maybe the fun just waned out, and I grew up, I aged out. That's how I feel. I don't know about you guys, but that's just where I am, I guess. And so I think I have to find a game. I have to find an RPG, a JRPG preferably, where I'm going to be okay spending the next 1 month playing as long as I can. And another thing to add to the discussion, I think a little bit has to do with the time I spend on stream. Heaven forbid that I want to play something else, and I've devoted so much time to this game. When I started playing Final Fantasy X, I told myself I would go through the 40 hours and finish it. But when people are watching, and I find that they're not entertained, or chat's going slow, then it's like, man, this is not the most ideal use of my time. And another issue compounded into that is that, me, I'm not the greatest streamer. I know this. You guys know this. I'm not consistent. It's something that I'm working on. Is that when you say you're going to do something and you commit to it, you got to stick to it. And you have people come out say, oh, I love this game. I would love to play Final Fantasy, or watch you play Final Fantasy and see if you enjoy the same wonder and joy that I felt when I was a child. I just don't feel like they're getting that same deal. Streaming nowadays, and this can go for any game, I got started with League of Legends, and I've talked to a lot of people, and I'm like, how do I get popular? Twitch doesn't promote me, and I don't stream with anybody like super big, so what's the point? And they're like, look, you have to focus on what got you big in the first place, which to a point is kind of agreeable, but streaming League of Legends when you're not super great at the game is probably the worst thing that you can do. One, it's incredibly frustrating. Two, who's going to want to watch some low-level player with no personality play a game? So sure, I'll have a handful of followers, but my stream won't grow because of that. So I was talking to Garlic, and he was like, whatever you do, I support you, which really means a lot. I know other people feel the same way. So I want to make sure that whatever time that you spend, any amount of time, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, 10 hours, make sure that it's something you like. Maybe you won't grow as fast. Maybe you won't get to where you are at the time that you expect it, but you'll know that you have some sort of positive outlook. If you're not going to end the stream or go to bed hating yourself, like putting yourself through that. And there's some people now who are popular, and you have to do things sometimes you don't like in order to get popular or to get ahead. That's just the way it is. But I don't believe that you have to do that for streaming. Luckily, streaming isn't my full-time thing, so I don't really have to worry about that. Like I said, I played Rabbids and Mario for like almost 4 hours last time, and I didn't have to worry about viewer count. I was enjoying myself. And when people see that you enjoy yourself, I think they'll be more inclined to come to the stream. And also, it was nice to see some followers who weren't coming for just League. So I think it's really important to be able to to pivot yourself into the game or community that you want to be a part of, because in the long run, it's just going to be better for you. So don't worry. So if you guys have any questions about that genre or other genres that maybe you thought you liked as a little kid, but as an adult or however old you are, you find that, maybe that wasn't as good as I originally thought, I would love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear what you think. So you can email me, you can tweet at me, you can send a message through Discord, whatever. You guys know how to reach me. It's below the stream. Second of all, I want to talk about loot boxes. So I have some friends who are more vocal than others when it comes to loot boxes, lotteries, all that stuff in games. Now, as a lot of you know, the free-to-play model is the most popular model right now. Can you honestly ask yourself, a lot of people here play League of Legends, you might actually see that, all right, imagine how League looked. It's come a long way to looking as good as it has now. And I look back at it now, 7 years ago, and I ask myself, would I have played this game knowing what I know now? Hell no. Hell to the no. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't. And imagine if that price tag was also $30 to just access the base content of the game. They would have a lot lower of a player base if that was the case. Having your game be free makes the barrier to entry non-existent. League was actually like low-key awful. There's actually no low-key about it. It looked like crap. It looked like hot steaming doo-doo. But it was free, and it was very easy to get into. All I needed was my email address, a username, and password. So that was really good. And some of the best moments in gaming are from League of Legends. Now, because of that free-to-play entry, I've spent little amounts of money on the game, and it's added up into some $2,000 I've spent on League over the past 6 years. Now, when I saw that number for the first time, I was like, damn, really? Like, that's how much I've spent on this game? But it's given me hours and hours and hours of entertainment that no other game has given me since World of Warcraft. And that's the same model, too. World of Warcraft is $15 a month, which is a steal if you're playing, 8 hours a day. You don't ever need to play another game because League will always be free. Now, as League has evolved and it's gotten better, they've had to find new ways to monetize it. You're not going to make money just off of skins and champions anymore. So they've introduced the controversial loot system, which for a lot of people means free content for just playing the game. But for some more vocal people, for people who are more distant about it, it feels like a greedy way to get cash out of your hands, which I just don't agree with. Now, the only negative thing I see about loot boxes is you're paying into a lottery, which obviously it's not good if you pay money and you don't get what you want, but you're getting free stuff that you can hopefully use towards something that you want. Normally when you play the lottery, what happens is you put in $1 and you just win shit. Like, most people will lose, and that's where all the money comes from. But for the people that small sample size that'll win. Oh my goodness, it's like, look what I got for such little input, and that is the appeal of loot boxes. Imagine putting a little bit of effort and getting a lot of return. It's the ultimate aphrodisiac. I mean, what better feeling is there to get a lot from inputting very little or nothing at all? I find a lot of people associate that with negative things because, oh, I spent $20 on all these loot boxes, I didn't get anything. Well, I mean, that's price that you paid. I mean, it doesn't guarantee anything, and nobody forced you to buy anything, which is what I don't understand. Now, these are the same people who will still play League of Legends, will still buy into the game, or not just League of Legends, but any other game. They're saying they're not okay with it, but you're kind of okay with it. When I don't like something, I vote with my wallet. You know, if a store stops carrying a certain thing, I'll go to another store. If I don't get the shipping that I want, I'll go somewhere else. If this isn't offering you X, you'll do Y. It's a response. And when enough people vote with their wallet, what will happen is that the company will pivot. They'll have meetings internally and they'll say, all right, we noticed a downward trend of RP purchases over the past 6 months. What can we do to get more people to buy RP? Oh, we can offer something at a lower reduced price. Because when you buy RP, it's for anything. You've paid right your money. They don't care what you do with the rest of the redeemable tokens that you buy. I cannot tell you how much free shit that I've gotten from just playing the game. And League of Legends is an example because it's the only game that I play with the loot box system. I haven't played a lot of Overwatch recently, but they've got a similar system too that I feel is not as good as League's, but that'll be for another discussion. So right now, if you play League of Legends, if you are not a toxic douchebag, you'll get what's called Key Fragment. And Key Fragment is 1/3 of a piece to make a key, which can open up chests that you get. Now you can pay for Key Fragments. You can pay for chests. The other way you can get chests is that if you play and get an S grade on each of the 135 plus champions, you'll get a free chest just for trying hard in any match-made game. That's not a lot to ask. Sometimes people just get S's by breathing. It encourages you to play a lot of the champions, maybe even find a champion that you like, and make some new connections. I don't fucking know. But I've gotten keys and chests over time, like over the past 6-7 months from just playing. I'll log in, and it's a great feeling seeing, oh, well, you kept it sportsmanlike. Here's a key fragment, just a gimme. That feels good. That's rewarding, and it's going to encourage me to keep playing the game, which is what they want, and to keep being a positive member of the population, which is what other people want. So, like, what more could you ask for? 3 years ago, which is not a long period of time in that game, you wouldn't get anything for free. You would have to buy every single piece of content that came out. This means wards, ward skins, champions, skins, you name it. If it was a monetary value, you had to buy it. And now, and this is what the big issue with a lot of gaming communities are, and why a lot of gaming companies don't like communicating with their fans as much as I feel that they should, is because when a gimme is given to somebody and it's not exactly what they want, even though that there's nothing that the user base has to do, they just benefit for free, it makes them entitled, it makes them greedy, it makes them very spiteful, and you get some really, really, really bad reactions out of the community for that. I've seen people who are like, I'm not going to play League of Legends because I'm not getting the free shit that I want. Well, if you don't like the free shit that you're getting, then pay into the system like everybody else, like I have, and just buy what you want. Now, there are some exclusive content locked behind that system, and as long as it's not a very big amount of content that's locked behind, like right now there's 3 skins. There is the Hextech Annie. There is Soul Stealer Vayne or whatever Vayne, and then there is a Darius skin. So 3 skins locked behind the loot system. And you're going to spend at least like $200 from what I have seen. You need gemstones, which are a very rare drop. You might get it in less rolls, you might get it in more rolls, but the fact of the matter is you have to pay way more than what you normally would. And Riot has made so much money off this system. Imagine if they just offered up those skins for like $15. They might not make as much money. So it's a smart system, and as long as they don't lock every single piece of content behind loot boxes, I can't see how someone could complain. And at the end of the day, you have to realize, and this isn't me sucking anybody's D, they're a business at the end of the day. If they don't make money, if they're not able to improve, if they're not able to pay their staff, that means we're not going to get the quality of content that we've been expecting. It's been going up and up. You know, the balancing of the game could use a little bit more work. The balancing game isn't easy. That's another discussion. But League is such a better game, I feel, now than it's been over the past 4 or 5 years. And that's because of systems like these, giving people accessibility to get content that they might not otherwise get. Like, imagine all of the teenagers or the younger people or people without work that find a lot of solace in this game, but maybe they don't have the money to support Riot directly. They support Riot with their time and effort, which is definitely worth something. Riot's giving you a little kickback. What's wrong with that? That's what I ask. So I think it's good. What do you think? Let me know in the comments when I upload this to YouTube or on Twitch, Twitter, all that good stuff. But that's going to do it for this comeback show of a Team Attack show. I really appreciate you guys watching. We're going to cut to the next part of the stream, but if you're here for this, I really appreciate it. You can watch more episodes on twitch.tv/blakinola. You can follow me on all social media, blakinola, and visit the website, blakinola.com. Sharing the stream, sharing the video helps so much, and I really appreciate you guys watching. So that's going to do it, and we're going to switch to the stream. Until next time, peace out.